Hello people, welcome back to a new video. This time we're going to be focusing on race starts. Now race starts are extremely important. They allow a driver to make a big difference irrespective of what car they're in. And so for me this year, it was an area I tried to improve in a lot because it's all about confidence. So what we're going to do is take a little look into my first race start, compare it with my last from this year's British GT Championship off the back of winning World's Fastest Gamer in 2019. Coincidentally, for both race starts I was placed in 4th position on the grid, and although they were only split by 3 months, it felt like I was a completely different driver in the second clip compared with the first clip. There are a lot of differences, so let's go and take a look and see what those are. Okay, so we're watching the first clip here at Oulton Park for round 1, my first proper race start at anything near this level of racing. You can see immediately lack of weaving, lack of braking to get any tyre temperature or pressure, which is extremely important as we all know. I'm a bit of a deer in headlights, to be honest. I'm focusing on other things, trying to not mess up the basics, and you can see there those 2 cars on the front row getting really close, which again is something that puts you off. So when we get around the final corner, you won't see or hear it, but I had the engineer talking to me about the lights, so effectively he was going red, 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 and then when it went green, he'd shout green. So not something I've had before, and I didn't even know that happened. It was a bit odd, but I tried to get used to it. I could have been closer to the McLaren in front at the start, so there's a little weakness there, and what that does is open me up to being overtaken on the inside. I didn't know any of the other drivers. I didn't know who they were, who was aggressive, who wasn't, and that's really important, again, knowing when to back out or go for a move. I could have stuck it around the outside of T1, not going to lie. I think my goals and objectives weren't to do that though. My goals and objectives, and I was being stressed all weekend about it, was to hold position, avoid crashing, spinning, any of that. And with that amount of pressure on me for my first race, I did just that. To be honest, my first lap in general wasn't really near the limit. I had a couple of hours experience in the car before the start, so there was various practice sessions, obviously qualifying before this race, and I didn't really feel comfortable at all. What you'll also see is when we get to the fast left of Island and Druids, the right-hander at the top of the hill, I'd never experienced dirty air before. Obviously I was behind cars in practice, but they were either letting me through or vice versa. So I remember it feeling really understeery and horrible through the fast corners, which it didn't catch me out as such, but again, it's something that put me off. It made me feel less comfortable, and I was just trying to survive those first few laps, to be honest. What's also very important to kind of note is A, the reaction time at the start it could have been better, and B, I was in second gear, so it doesn't sound that alive, the car, when I start going forward, which compared to the other cars around me, in fairness, they weren't much quicker. But if you look and compare it to the second clip, which you'll see in a minute, it's a bit different. Okay, so the second clip, the final round of this year's British GT Championship, again 4th on the grid. I had 5 rounds under my belt at this point, a lot more comfortable in the car in every aspect, where the controls are, how the car felt near the limit, etc. I was riding the brake a lot more to keep some tyre temp, more aggressive braking as well, so there was a few tricks there to really keep that tyre temp in there, which is crucial in the real world. It might not be as vital in the sim, but it is really important in the real world. My mental capacity at this point isn't being as strained compared with round 1, so I'm a lot more clear in the head and I can focus on these other things around just driving, which again is really important. So as we approach the lights, I've not got the engineer talking to me about the lights this time, because I figured out over the course of the season that I prefer to be on my own when it comes to the start lights and focus on them myself, which is just a bit more natural. I'm a lot closer to the car in front, so in that sense I'm a bit more racy, I'm ready for the start. The reaction time at the lights I think is a little bit quicker than Oulton, so there's a little improvement there. In the first clip as well I was in second gear, whereas in this one I'm in first, so I think again over the course of the season I figured out there's a bit more power from being in first, which again is something you can't know in the first round. I got it wrong in the first round, you learn from it, and naturally we got a better start. I mean, there was different cars around us compared with the first start, so in the first round there was 3 McLarens, there was 2 Mercs and a Lambo, so I know the drivers at this point, how they act, who to be aggressive with, who to not be aggressive with, so from that kind of perspective the start was better, and I think because the mindset was completely different, going for the championship meant we had to be at the front, we had to win. Crashing wasn't really a conscious worry as such, we needed to win the whole thing. I wanted to prove to the team that I knew that. There comes a point where holding position, being solid is okay, but to make it in motorsport, I think with very limited track time and opportunities to show yourself, you have to be exceptional. I'm not saying I am, but I was trying to be the whole season. And the Lambo in front, the guys who ended up winning the championship, you can see their car pulling away from us, and I think they did have an edge on us all weekend, to be honest. Our car just couldn't switch the tyres on because it was so cold that weekend, because it was like November. So he does pull away, but the start itself was a massive step forward from round 1. And so there you go, a little insight into an area that shows that with time and experience, improvements can be made. So do let us know if you want to see more of this kind of stuff going on the channel. There's plenty of footage to go through. With it being the end of the season, of course, I've got a lot more time to kill. But yeah, give it a like, sub to the channel if you enjoyed it. If not, then please, I encourage you to roast me in the comments below. But until the next one, I'll see you soon.